Hey everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and I'm here to tell you all about the new movie out of Netflix right now, Rebel Ridge. This is the latest film from writer-director Jeremy Saulnier, and I have a pretty strong feeling you're going to love this one, folks. So, a Marine Corps veteran named Terry Richmond is out on his bike one day, and then all of a sudden he is ran over by a cop car. And the encounter is tense, with Terry, being very calm and showing his hands, doing everything to show that he is not a threat, non-lethal and all that. And the cops are, super passive-aggressive to Terry's situation in that way that cops are when they pulled you over or, exerted their power in power in any limited way. Hey, but searching his backpack, they find 36 grand in cash that Terry was spend at the courthouse that's closing soon, to post his cousin's bail. But the cops, being cops, seize Terry's money, suspecting that he will use it for drug dealing. And what follows is not really the guns blazing action movie that the trailer might have sold it as, but a deliberately paced pressure cooker thriller about how truly broken our legal system is, and it is great. This was outstanding. Now, if there's one thing that Jeremy Saulnier is great at, it's establishing and slowly raising the tension before suddenly breaking it with these shocking bursts of violence. Be it in his punk rock bottle thriller Green Room, or his anti-revenge movie, his 2014 masterpiece Blue Ruin. But with Rebel Ridge, it's a little bit different, because Saulnier here is building suspense in a more sophisticated manner than I think I've seen from him by forcing Terry to trying and failing in the Sisyphean task of navigating the legal red tape that we're all stuck navigating to seek justice, and he's constantly forced to stew in his constantly building frustration. It feels like a very interesting way. Feels like a very interesting way to navigate this. What likely started as a kind of Rambo First Blood pitch of one-man army versus crooked cops. Now, said cops in this movie are not merely the one-dimensional racist stand-ins that are meant to be cruel and bitter and meant to only be served violent justice. As fun as that might be in its own right, definitely could there's definitely a movie in there for you somewhere, maybe a little more trashy direct-to-DVD stuff, but trust me, there are a few cops in this movie that you really, really, really want to see take a beating. But Rebel Ridge goes a step beyond that easy catharsis. It interrogates the various ways that the cops can, have, and will do to legally screw you over, such as the inciting civil asset forfeiture of Terry's cash for his cousin's bail. Now, in short, if the police believe your property will be used in a crime, they are legally allowed to seize it, not even charged, even though you have not been charged with a crime, and they are basically allowed to keep most, if not all, of that money and spend it however and whatever they want. And since finding it in court would take too long and would be twice as expensive in the first place, and especially since the courts themselves almost lean exclusively in the police's favor, it leaves men like Terry with fewer and fewer options to take. And Rebel Ridge does go to show that it's not just bad apples that are spoiling a bunch. No, the entire system itself is all at fault. Even the ostensibly good-hearted people who do believe that the justice system works and who do want to help and do believe in helping people this way, they are also implicated. They are also implicated in how they turn a blind eye or just sort of let things be because, well, the system's supposed to work as intended, despite the fact that the system is working as intended, and it's screwing people over. For and all of this this slowly evolving setup of tension in its really pitch perfect first act. Like if this does not hook you by the really by the opening 10 minutes, then it will absolutely will for the rest of the time. All of that would be a great hook for a thriller, but it's all the more made better with Aaron Pierre in the lead. And so you might actually remember Aaron Pierre as one mid-sized sedan in that M. Night Shyamalan movie about the beach that makes you old. But here he is giving a movie star caliber performance, and wow, he's so good in this. And it's actually interesting because given that John Boyega was originally going to star in this movie, but kind of just pulled out of production a few weeks into filming for reasons I actually haven't been able to find. And not for nothing, I think not for nothing, I love Boyega. He actually really does kill it in he super killed it in the another Netflix original movie from last year, They Cloned Tyrone, which you all should really check out. It's pretty good. But honestly, I think the movie is a little better for it because I honestly cannot imagine anyone other than Aaron Pierre in this role. He has this cool-headed stare and just the sheer size of his cool hazel-eyed stare there, and the sheer size of his body just makes for a compelling screen presence alone. And the way he holds himself, just holds his hands out in front of him as he's very cool and measuredly speaking with people. and wow, but it's the way that he controls that body and his tone of voice to really lay out the anger he is forced to bury under all of his determination. And man, this man is determined. There's a wonderful scene where he is on his bike chasing after a bus that's transferring his cousin Mike to upstate, and he's biking as fast as he can, trying to catch up, just to talk to him and give him a fist bump. And it's one of the more triumphant moments of the movie, and it's because we're watching Pierre seeing the look in his eyes, for a fact that this man will stop at nothing. When he set his sights on something, he will stop at nothing to get there. And man, you might find yourself comparing him to Jack Reacher in more than a few ways, given how he's measuredly taking command and coolly mag dumping a pistol, or just dishing out this sick non-lethal action moves against the pigs in its terrific third act. Which I got to say, it's definitely worth getting there. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. It's 2 hours and 11 minutes long. Definitely worth the trip. Even though I would say that it does kind of overstay its welcome a little bit, but oh man, when it's delivering on that action in the third act, it's great. And Pierre is marvelous in those scenes. It's the way he just throws out these CQC moves on these cops. It's so satisfying, and he's so committed. He's so in the role, and like Saulnier himself said, mid-size sedan goes full freight train, and it's so good to watch. Dude kills it in every scene that he's in, and he carries this movie like a seasoned pro. But fortunately, he has a really strong supporting cast that are not all slouching either. You have Don Johnson, who's doing solid work as the racist-ass police chief, Sandy Byrne. And he's not really doing anything we haven't seen him do since Django Unchained and Knives Out. But by this point, Don Johnson has charming bad guy villain down to a science. Also, same goes for Emory Cohen as a super hateable cop. You really want to see this guy be put in his place the second you see him. Also, AnnaSophia Robb did some pretty solid work as basically Terry's sidekick. She's his lone ally in the legal system, despite unfortunately being one of the thinner characters and one of the more weaker aspects of the movie. Like that first act is a tough one to follow. Oh, and following that act, there's they set up some motivations that aren't quite as interesting, and there's there's a journey to like uncovering a conspiracy that the cops are trying to bury, which feels a little more, which isn't quite as compelling as all the interrogation of the legal system that it was so brilliantly setting up, and it's one of those things where like there's parts in this second act that definitely feels like they could have shaved off those extra 10 minutes and just made for a cleaner 2-hour runtime. But even so, that when finally gets to that third act, it's so damn good. And really, like, Rebel Ridge is a powerhouse thriller that's furious at our fucked up legal system, that are just made to allow these power-hungry crooks that we call our law enforcement to run rampant with unchecked power. All right, and it's done, and it is the kind, and yeah, it is like this political statement of a movie, but it's told through this excellently crafted, muscular filmmaking that has these satisfying setup and payoffs, and provides these crowd-pleasing thrills that really deserves better than being dumped onto Netflix. I should be watching this in a theater, and you should be too. And you should be watching this. Your dads should be watching this. This would kill for dads. But it's a movie that deserves to have an audience. And I fear that Netflix, with its anti-cinema business practices, only for like a few, and only for few exceptions, I really feel like movies like Rebel Ridge could better, that deserve an audience like this, that deserve to have it be pushed to people and be like, hey, here's our new thing, here's the big movie that we got, and everyone should see this, because it's satisfying, it's thrilling, it's relevant to our frustrations that we are all have to deal with, and in a better world, a movie like Rebel Ridge would have deserved to clear like a clean $100 million at the box office before fulfilling its destiny as a classic, as a cable TV classic that you would watch on TNT some 20 years ago. Oh, and also be a modern classic in the great canon of fuck the police cinema. It's good stuff. When this movie is running, it is absolutely running with gas, and it's sturdy, it's solid. It's not super ambitious in terms of like the filmmaking, but it does. It's like watching a muscle car at work. It moves, and it's beautiful. And I can't recommend this enough. I'm feeling a strong 8 for this. This is easily one of my favorites of the year, and yeah, I think this is definitely Saulnier's best since Blue Ruin. And I should actually, yeah, definitely recommend Blue Ruin. This is a great low budget, grimy, and depressing revenge thriller, but it makes you feel bad about wanting revenge, and the violence in it is so shocking, and it's kind of feels bad cinema, but it's so good. Whereas Rebel Ridge is a little more cathartic, but yeah, definitely recommend Rebel Ridge. Absolutely worth it. Very impressed, and I will have more movies to come. I have more reviews to come. I have more movies to watch because I'm Zach. I like movies. I have a lot more movies to watch, and I hope you watch movies too. And I will see you all next time.